This second video demonstrates converting our 1/4 inch elevation view to a full-size 1/2 inch drawing. We have already made our 1/4 inch drawing and we have written in our measurements for each cabinet or object such as our oven range and dishwasher that is needed in the drawing. So I'm going to simply keep my 1/4 inch drawing somewhere nearby so that I can refer back to it for measurements. I'm going to first start by having a clean sheet of paper already taped down, and I'm going to draw a line across my drawing sheet, and that is the measurement for my floor line, or the line for my floor that represents the floor. Because we're converting to a 1/2 inch, I'm going to use my 1/2 inch scale to begin to take my measurements. I'm going to simply place the 1/2 inch scale on the floor line, and I'm going to draw in my ceiling height. To get that ceiling height, I'm going to measure up 8 feet. So remember, we are looking at the numbers that are starting at 0. When I find where 8 is, I'm going to make my mark. And then from there, I can move my parallel bar up and draw in my ceiling line. Now I drew my floor and my ceiling lines in heavy because these are the top and the bottom, which serves as my border line. From here, I'm going to work this drawing from left to right. In doing so, I know that I have to draw this wall. So taking my triangle, I'm simply just going to place a line anywhere that goes from the top of the ceiling to the floor line. Now I have to create my wall thickness. I know if I use my architectural scale that this has a wall thickness of 7 inches. So knowing that, turning my scale to my 1/2 inch scale, I am going to measure in 7 inches. Making my mark, I'm going to use my triangle as a straight edge to create that vertical line. And I have this first wall created. From here, I can just move across my drawing, making my points for all of the measurements to put in all of the cabinets and objects. So using my 1/4 inch scale again, I'm going to place my 0 on the inside line of the wall, and I'm just going to measure straight across. This first cabinet is 24 inches, so I'm going to make a mark at 2 feet. From here, the next cabinet is 18 inches. The next cabinet, or actually the oven range, is 36 inches, which is 3 feet. And the next cabinet next to the oven range is 3 feet, or 36 inches. My sink base is 36 inches. So I'm simply moving my scale over, and I have made marks for all of the cabinet and oven and sink base sizes. I'm just going to stop there for now because you can continue on to measure the 12 inches, which is a foot. Your dishwasher is 24 inches. And then that last cabinet on the edge, let's put that right there, is 18 inches. At this point, you can now begin to just pull those lines. Give you some guidelines lightly for each mark. Now I'll just stop there for now. Now we have our guidelines. And I can just lightly pencil in that this is my range. And then for so forth, I can put my dishwasher on the end. Now we have the vertical line starting, and we now can create the height of our cabinets. Again, using your 1/4 inch scale, because this drawing is converted to 1/4 inch. We're going to measure the same way we did when we were measuring at our, using our 1/2 inch scale. We're going to measure the same way we did for our 1/4 inch. We know that the counter height is 3 feet or 36 inches. So I have my 1/2 inch scale placed along the side of the wall, and I'm going to measure up 3 feet. And then I will go ahead and draw the line straight across. It won't be inside of the wall, it's going to come outside. So now we have our 36 inches or 3 feet tall cabinet or counter heights. From here, I'm going to draw in the toe kicks. We know that the toe kicks measures 4 inches from the floor line. So I'm going to line, I'm still using my 1/2 inch scale. I'm going to line this up to 4 inches. Make my mark. And then draw the line across. Remembering, I'm just using a light line. I'm going to remember that in your oven range area, there is no toe kick, so we can skip over that and just continue the line across for the rest of our cabinets. So now we have our line for our toe kick. I'm also going to go ahead and draw in the countertop thickness. That is an 1.5 inches. So I'm placing, using my 1/2 inch scale, placing my 0 on the top line, and I'm going to measure down 1.5 inches. Making my mark and draw in my countertop thickness. Again, I can skip over the oven range because the oven range does not have a countertop. So here we have the makings of our elevation at a 1/4 inch and blowing it up to a 1/2 inch scale. From here, we can continue to move forward. It is up to you if you would like to finish out your base cabinets, but for me, I would like to just continue to create my outline. I'm only working on half of the drawing right now. I have not continued on the other end. But I'm going to go ahead and put in my backsplash. I would like my backsplash to have a thickness or a height of, it ranges from a 4-inch backsplash, a 6-inch backsplash, or even I've seen 8-inch backsplash. That is solely up to the designer. I'm going to elect to have a 4-inch bull nose type backsplash. So in knowing that, I'm going to place my 4-inch mark right on the top of my countertop. And then I'm going to make my mark at the 0 because that is 4 inches. From there, I'm going to go ahead and draw that backsplash straight across. If your backsplash does not continue through your stove or your oven range area, remember, if you draw that line in there, just go ahead and do a simple erase. Moving along to creating my upper cabinets, I know that there's a distance between the top of my backsplash to the bottom of my upper cabinets of 18 inches. So again, using that 1/2 inch scale, this is the exact same thing that we did to create our 1/4 inch elevation. I'm going to place that 1/2 inch so that I can get 18 inches. There we go. I'm going to make my mark. And then draw in the line for my upper cabinets. This is the base of them. Now the height of your upper cabinets measures according to what you as a designer or your client specified. For us, we will have 36-inch high base upper cabinets with a small soffit above. So I am lining this up to the 0. This is the bottom line for my upper cabinets. I'm going to measure up to the 3 feet mark and draw in the top of my upper cabinets. At this point, I can go through and just finish off some lines to tie them in where missing. You can also go through and erase any small lines that ran over to your faucet that touched the ceiling. And then you also can begin to erase the lines that lie from the backsplash to the upper cabinet. So you just can go back through and now erase your guidelines to begin to clean your drawing up. Now that I have went through and cleaned up our drawing, I can now see and start to form a visual of our elevation blown up at a 1/2 inch scale. Small items that I may want to remember to include is the cabinetry located here. We know that this cabinet is the side profile of where we cut into the cabinetry, where the countertop turns to make the L shape. So we know that that has a measurement on our 1/4 inch scale of 12 inches or 1 foot. So using my 1/2 inch scale, I'm just going to come across to the top so we don't forget about that and measure over 1 foot. And go ahead and use your triangle to create your vertical line. Because this is a side profile, I can go ahead now and darken it in so that I know this is my side profile. And remember, our side profile has a dark line and it is outlined. So we have our top profile for our upper cabinet. So now we need to create one for our base cabinet as shown on our 1/4 inch drawing. Again, we have that toe kick that will come back into the cabinet from the side view over 4 inches. So we're going to measure in 4 inches using that 1/2 inch scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make our mark. Draw our vertical line down. And then use our eraser to erase out what we don't need. Sometimes it may run on and you may accidentally erase more lines. But once we clean it up, we can just go back into our drawing. Here we go. And darken in the line that is needed and continue the rest of our lines. Another area that we will want to be sure to erase is the toe kick that continues through. So we do want to make sure we get that out of there. Again, I'm just simply cleaning up the drawing. Notice that my hand is not resting on the diagram. Always keep your hand up so that you don't do any smearing under your pinky. Now that we have that cleaned up, again, we're going to go ahead and hard line or darken in our profile of the cabinet. Now that we have our profile of our cabinetry darkened in so that we can see that it is the profile, I'm looking at my elevation here, and now I can begin to create my door swings and add any of the elements and materials in which to bring now my drawing to life. First, I would like to show you, this is considered that cabinetry that is next to your oven range shown here in our 1/4 inch drawing. We know that it is 36 inches. So this cabinet could possibly be a cabinet that has 2 doors that swing open. So I'm just going to draw me a guideline that lies in the center to give me that 1/2 and 1/2 on each side. And that's simply taking a measurement of 1.5 inches. So if I place my 1/2 inch scale at the 1/2 mark and then measure over the foot, so I have 1.5 feet, 1.5 feet. I'm making that mark there. I'm now moving over and drawing the line down. It will stop above the toe kick because we are now talking about our cabinet doors. At this point that you now have this portion created, you can go ahead, if you have your plan placed on your board, just set it to the side and just use it as a reference to look on as far as creating your design. We have a cabinet door or a line that divides this cabinet so that we can have 2 doors. You want to remember to draw in all of your door swings when you're creating these elevations. Remember, the hinge of the door swings lies at the center of the actual door. So what I'm going to do is take my 1/2 inch scale. I am going to measure up from the actual end of the door, and I'm going to find that center point. That center point measures about here. From there, I like to personally just draw a thin line across because I want to know where my center mark lands on the sides of my door, so I know where to create the hinge. Using my triangle, I'm simply going to connect the midpoint of my door to the top and draw Actually, I need to erase because you want to make sure your triangle is resting on your parallel bar so that you can get that straight line. And you won't have it crooked or making any hiccups such as I did. Bringing my parallel bar up, I now can go ahead and draw in my door hinge. You can flip your triangle in the opposite direction and line it up to go ahead and draw in the next portion. Oh, it's a little off of your door hinge. And then you can do the same for the other side. Flipping the triangle. Bring it a little closer to me. Just a tad hair, smidgen of a hair off. From here, you can now use your eraser shed. Place them on top of the line where you have the circles in your eraser shield so that we can make this a dashed line. Simply erase over the top. Use your brush to clean it up before you remove it so we don't have any loose And now, as you can see, our door swings are being created and we're showing them as a dashed line. So now I have shown the direction of my door swings. Going a step further, sometimes I like to just place my eraser shield down as a guide or over an area to just erase. But I just use it as a stopper when I need to erase other lines. Another tool you can use is your triangle or your parallel bar where it's applicable. Again, the hinge is at the midpoint of the doors or the cabinets, and it is showing, in this drawing is telling me that my hinge is on the right hand side. So if I was to have handles on these doors, my doors will be located in the inside, and this door opens out towards me. It swings to the right. From here, I have now demonstrated how to draw and upscale your 1/4 inch plan and blow it up to a 1/2 inch scale elevation. We simply took the measurements that we created at the 1/4 inch and recreated them using the same techniques and knowing our measurements and just flipping the actual scale that we're using to measure with. Now that I have made it this far, I'm going to simply go through and continue to add all of my elements. I will draw in my oven range and what it looks like in real time. I will draw in the remaining cabinet doors for my base cabinets and my upper cabinets as well. Remember, for the profile cabinets, nothing will be seen. We wouldn't see a door swing or anything of that nature. For the upper profile cabinet, this is where the wall turns. So the cabinet that is located here is the other side of this cabinet. So we will have a swing that is shown in a certain direction. We will want it to open out and not into the side cabinet. So to showcase that, again, I am going to take my 1/2-inch scale and find the center of this 3-foot cabinet, and that is right here, 1.5 feet. And then I will take my triangle and draw in or use what you need. I prefer for you guys, it's best that you get into a habit of using all of the tools that you have in front of you to create the straight line and connect from the center your door swing. We have the door swing drawn, so the only thing we need to do is turn it into a dashed line. Using that eraser shield again, I am simply placing it right on the line so that I can see it through the circles and then erase right on top. And now we have our door swing. Again, this is telling me that this cabinet door opens to the right. So my handle to grab will be located on the inside. And this handle here, if it was handles, high or low, would be located on the inside. And seeing that this is a base cabinet, let's go ahead and put these handles in the correct place. A little erasing to do. So what I'm going to do is clean this up so that it is done correctly. And this is why we draw with a light line. And then once we have everything defined, we can go back through and hard line our drawing to clean it up. So these are base cabinets, so the handles may be a little further up. You don't want to have to reach all the way down by the floor to open your cabinet doors. And from here, you can continue to move forward with your drawing.